What if I told you that the realm you are destined for after this life, the heaven, the plane, the existence we ponder, is not a distant, pre-assigned location, but a specific frequency you are already broadcasting right now as you read these words? I know. Immediately, that part of your mind, the cold, logical calculator built on textbooks and concrete facts, wants to dismiss this as spiritual hyperbole. That analytical voice whispers, "That's impossible, that's just wishful thinking." But I invite you to silence that inner skeptic, just for a moment, because what we are about to explore transcends mere belief. It enters the territory of energetic truth, the domain revealed by the sleeping prophet, Edgar Cayce. For decades, Cayce offered thousands of readings, detailing not just the physical ailments of the body, but the energetic structure of the soul. He wasn't talking about abstract dogma or traditional religion. He spoke of laws, the ironclad, immutable laws of vibration that govern existence. He proposed that your consciousness acts like a tuning fork, constantly resonating with one of the many spiritual planes of existence. And the central, startling revelation is this: you don't arrive at your afterlife realm, you match it. You are already building your soul's blueprint, brick by energetic brick. Do you ever feel an inexplicable pull towards something deeper? A persistent ache within your spirit that suggests the mundane reality around you is masking a profound, hidden structure. That sensation is not neurosis. That is your higher self attempting to adjust its dial. Most people mistake deep spiritual unrest for simple stress, or confusing chronic anxiety for mere mental fatigue. But what if that constant low-grade hum of dissatisfaction isn't just lack of sleep, but a clear sign of your soul struggling to tune into its highest possible setting? This is the profound difference we must acknowledge. We are not looking for symptoms of pathology. We are identifying the signs of vibration. Cayce offered 7 specific, undeniable signals, not abstract theories, but tangible ways your inner life leaks out into the physical world that reveal exactly which spiritual frequency you are currently locked onto. These 7 signs are the secret language your spirit uses to tell you where it is heading. Over the course of our journey, I will reveal each of these 7 vibration tests. This process isn't rooted in judgment or fear. It is an offering of ultimate empowerment. It's about taking the dial of your destiny firmly into your own hands. We are going to examine the evidence left in the wake of your daily choices, the energetic residue that determines whether your future environment is one of divine expansion or subtle spiritual contraction. Are you ready to see the invisible cords connecting your everyday actions to your ultimate destination? Are you prepared to accept that the very air you breathe is already being calibrated to the sound of your own soul? Let's begin by unlocking the first, most misunderstood sign, the sign that many confuse with mere luck, but which Cayce identified as the fundamental measure of your resonance, the nature of your daily obstacles. What if I told you that the very skepticism bubbling up inside you right now, that tiny analytical voice dismissing everything we've said about soul measurements and destiny cords, is not an error in your logic, but rather an intentional defense mechanism crafted by your own identity to protect you from the immense power of self-discovery? As we began to touch upon the nature of your daily obstacles, I know exactly what happened. A sudden internal alarm sounded. The logical part of you, which has been rigorously trained by years of empirical data and material reality, is already discarding this concept as fanciful, wishing to categorize it as mere New Age fluff or harmless pathology. I know how this sounds, and please understand, I recognize the strength of that resistance because I have seen it in every seeker who stands on the precipice of profound realization. This resistance, this immediate logical recoil, is not a flaw in your thinking. It is the spiritual gravity of the familiar trying to keep you earthbound. Your mind is like a meticulously constructed fortress, built to keep comfort in and uncertainty out. When a truth as vast and challenging as Edgar Cayce's vision of the soul vibration test knocks on the gate, the drawbridge immediately goes up. This is not simple cynicism. That would be banal. This is the soul's deepest, most primal fear of having to exchange a comfortable, known lie for a demanding, overwhelming truth. Haven't you felt that powerful, almost urgent need to minimize a breakthrough right after it happens? Do you recognize the automatic impulse to rationalize away the mystery, preferring the safety of the mundane explanation over the radical implications of the spiritual one? This impulse is a subtle but potent sign in itself. It is the ego fighting for the illusion of control. Because once you accept the premise that your actions, fears, and relationships are actively calibrating your afterlife realm, you can no longer plead ignorance. Empowerment brings immediate, inescapable responsibility. And that, my friend, is what we are truly resistant to. This is the central challenge of unlocking Cayce's message. You must be willing to temporarily silence the fortress guard. You must allow the possibility that the signs we are about to explore are not symptoms of misfortune or random chance, the mundane X, but rather precise energetic indicators, the profound why, of where your soul is currently vibrating. Are you ready to admit that your current resistance is merely a shield protecting you from the blinding light of your own ultimate power? Only when you lower that shield can we truly examine the next, even more startling sign, the most common vibration measurement that nearly everyone misinterprets as mere emotional drama, but which Cayce identified as the exact speed of your soul's karmic reprocessing. What if I told you that the key to measuring this exact speed of soul reprocessing wasn't discovered by a scientist in a pressurized laboratory, but by a simple man who only accessed this profound truth while entirely asleep in an armchair? Your logical mind, I know, is already building its defenses, discarding the possibility as folklore or new age fluff. But this time, your dismissal won't work, because we are talking about documentation, not mere belief. We are talking about Edgar Cayce, the man history remembers as the sleeping prophet. I promise you, this isn't an appeal to blind faith. This is a confrontation with documented evidence. For more than 40 years, Cayce would lie down, enter a self-induced trance, and utter complex systematic analyses. Over 14,000 of them recorded and catalogued, known as the life readings. These weren't vague platitudes. They were detailed medical diagnoses, specific instructions for treatments, meticulous accounts of past lives, and, most crucially for us, consistent explanations of universal laws governing karma, reincarnation, and the precise geometry of the afterlife realms. Can you truly grasp the magnitude of 14,000 individually verified transcripts detailing the same cosmic physics? Ask yourself, when does anecdotal testimony become documented law? When the pattern holds for 4 decades, across thousands of disparate individuals, consistently revealing the same underlying mechanism for existence. This is why we must discard the facile conclusion that Cayce was merely a psychic. That's too small a box. He wasn't predicting the lottery, he was delivering a transcript of the Akashic records, providing the missing user manual for the human soul. This volume of material serves as the bedrock authority for our investigation. It reveals that the chaos you feel inside, the constant cycling of the same old emotional patterns, is not a pathological diagnosis, but rather a mathematically measurable vibration, the signature of your soul struggling to resolve its past. Do you see the distinction now? This is not X, a simple spiritual guru spouting vague wisdom. This is Y, an exhaustive documented record keeper providing the blueprints of cosmic accountability. This realization demands a shift in identity. You are not a victim of random feelings. You are a participant in a cosmic equation, currently vibrating at a specific frequency. And now that we have established the authority of the law, the framework provided by the sleeping prophet, we must move to the very first, most common and most misunderstood measurement on Cayce's spiritual scale, the overwhelming weight of self-doubt and paralyzing fear that you mistake for mere anxiety. Ready to discover what that intense internal noise actually reveals about the destination of your soul? What if I told you that the heavy, crushing weight of self-doubt and paralyzing fear we just discussed isn't a personal flaw or a psychiatric disorder, but merely the signature of a cosmic law operating perfectly? What if I told you that where your soul travels next has nothing to do with judgment, location, or even the summation of your good deeds, but everything to do with the speed at which your emotional core is currently vibrating. I know your logical mind is already preparing the rebuttal, the familiar maps, the ancient texts describing streets of gold or fiery geographical pits. I urge you, discard those maps. Edgar Cayce reveals this simple, shattering truth. The afterlife is not geography, it is frequency. The universe, in its ultimate wisdom, doesn't need a celestial zoning commission or a vengeful gatekeeper. It operates like an infinitely precise radio dial, and the principle that governs your eternal reality is resonance. You are not sent anywhere after death. You simply tune in to the reality that resonates with the exact vibration you cultivated while inhabiting the physical body. If your core being vibrates at the speed of love, peace, and unwavering truth, you are simply unable to perceive or interact with realms defined by discord and chaos. They become acoustically invisible to you. Think of yourself not as a passenger waiting for a destination, but as a massive living tuning fork. When you strike a tuning fork, it can only make its adjacent forks sing if they share the identical frequency. This is the bedrock of the soul vibration test. What are the subtle, persistent vibrations that your life is constantly making sing around you? Do you notice that when you dwell in anger, you constantly encounter situations and people that justify and amplify that anger? Or conversely, when you commit to radical gratitude, unexpected blessings seem to appear from the ether? This is not coincidence or motivational thinking. This is the sacred law of resonance at work. This is your immediate living feedback loop, your soul vibration test running live right now. I want you to understand that this framework goes far deeper than the superficial law of attraction you see plastered on motivational posters. This isn't about visualizing a new car. It is about the cosmic density of your very being. Fear, resentment, sustained judgment, and unresolved guilt are heavy. They possess a lower, slower frequency. Love, radical forgiveness, expansive acceptance, and compassion are light. They create a higher, faster frequency. The realms of the afterlife, according to Cayce, are simply different densities of light. You do not suffer punishment. You gravitate toward the density you are. It's physics, not judgment. When your soul leaves the physical body, it immediately seeks its vibrational home. Does that sound terrifying or intensely liberating? The practice, then, is not to force a good vibration, but to identify and release the density, the spiritual friction that is slowing you down. Your homework is to stop asking where you are going and start diligently assessing what frequency you are radiating. If the destination is merely the vibrational extension of your present self, we must immediately learn to decode the internal signals you are currently misinterpreting. We must understand the true signature of that heavy, slow vibration that you are mistakenly labeling as mere stress. What if I told you that your soul, right now, in this very moment, is broadcasting a precise 7-part signature, a map that determines the actual gravitational pull of your next dimensional experience, and that you have been willfully ignoring the frequency? Your logical mind, I know, is already trying to classify this information as esoteric nonsense, as folklore, or as mere psychological suggestion. That is perfectly fine. Let that part of you resist, because the truth we are seeking is vibrational, and vibration bypasses analytical logic entirely. It settles deep in the heart, demanding only recognition. We have arrived at the precipice of the core teaching, the identification of the 7 undeniable signs that constitute your soul vibration test. This is not a test you take with a pencil or a questionnaire you fill out after morning coffee. It is a resonance that you feel in your core, an unmistakable signature etched into your daily awareness. You have felt it, haven't you? That heavy, slow, sinking feeling is not proof of failure. It is merely low-frequency feedback. The test is simply the clear naming of the signals you are already generating, signals that define your actual spiritual velocity. These 7 manifestations are not mere habits, personality quirks, or symptoms of clinical anxiety, X. They are the undeniable, persistent signatures, Y, of where your soul's center of gravity currently resides, the indelible fingerprints left by the divine intention within you that tell the tale of your alignment. If you are radiating a frequency of intense fear, for instance, this signature will be reflected in one or more of these 7 areas with absolute, brutal clarity. Our goal is to move beyond judging these states. We must stop labeling them as good or bad and start recognizing them as precise diagnostic instruments. They are the 7 dials on your internal radio receiver, showing exactly which realm you are tuning into. Cayce insisted these signs were completely inconfusable, demanding immediate self-identification upon presentation. When you see them, they will click into place, a recognition that burns slightly because it forces accountability. This is the moment we stop observing the trajectory of others and start diligently assessing the internal weather inside our own vessel. We are looking for the profound spiritual mechanisms disguised as the mundane difficulties of everyday life. Are you truly prepared to encounter the names of these 7 internal forces that reveal the destiny of your own current vibration? Are you ready to admit that what you thought was just a stressful Tuesday is actually a direct broadcast of your destination? What if I told you that the smallest, most insignificant irritations of your day, the traffic jam that stole 3 minutes, the dropped spoon, the forgotten password, are not random events, but finely tuned spiritual seismographs recording the precise frequency of your soul? I know your logical mind is already preparing to dismiss this as mere stress management or simple impatience. You are thinking, it's just frustration, nothing profound. But I must assure you, we are moving far beyond the terrain of the mundane. We are looking for the sacred signature hidden inside the ordinary moment of upset. This first unmistakable sign, the one we call the silent cry, reveals your vibrational destination with startling clarity. Think of your soul as a vast, deep lake. If a child tosses a tiny pebble onto the surface, the ripple should be minute, quickly absorbed by the depth. But when that tiny pebble, the spilled coffee, the miscommunicated instruction, causes a disproportionate tsunami of inner chaos, an immediate and overwhelming frustration, it is proof that the lake was already disturbed. It was already holding an immense pressure that the small event merely released. This is not mere irritability. It is the soul's urgent, silent scream against misalignment. Do you recognize this sensation? That sudden, overwhelming urge to snap, to throw your hands up, to abandon the task, all triggered by an incident that objectively costs you perhaps 10 seconds of time. Are you a person who instantly amplifies the minor inconvenience into a personal tragedy or a cosmic injustice? If you are nodding now, you are witnessing the core dynamic of your current vibration. The universe, according to Cayce's transmissions, only reflects the frequency you habitually broadcast. If your inner default setting is to magnify minor chaos, you are essentially pre-selecting a future realm where chaos is magnified and unavoidable. We must differentiate this signal immediately. The silent cry is not clinical anxiety, nor is it rage. It is the deep spiritual protest of the divine essence within you, reacting to the heavy armor of expectations and resistance you have draped around it. You are not meant to be impervious to life, but you are designed to be resilient. When resilience fails over a broken shoelace, the soul is telling you that its reserves are depleted, not by the shoelace itself, but by a deeper, unaddressed spiritual debt. How often, just today, did the small things trigger a sharp, momentary drop in your entire system? This is the vibration test in real time. This frustration is not an obstacle. It is a direct message defining the texture of your next spiritual environment. Are you ready to admit that you have been defining your soul's destiny, one exasperated sigh at a time? Your journey begins not when the massive storm hits, but when you choose how you will respond to the single drop of rain. Practice catching that first flicker of disproportionate annoyance, for in that instant of awareness lies the profound power to redirect your entire course. What if I told you that the fear you feel when facing the void is not the fear of ceasing to exist, but the sophisticated terror of losing the protagonist you have spent your entire life constructing? I know your logical mind is already preparing the argument that the fear of death is simply biological, the instinctual resistance to the end of the line. But that common observation is merely the surface tension. I am inviting you to plunge into the 7th and most climactic signal of your soul's ultimate destination, the sign that truly reveals where your vibration is anchored. This deepest resistance is not the generalized fear of physical demise, it is the sheer terror of losing the specific, meticulously curated you. It is the panic that grips the ego when it realizes that the mask it has worn, the identity it has spent decades defining, the successful executive, the indispensable mother, the witty intellectual, must be dropped completely. This is the ego's final, catastrophic refusal to surrender its boundaries, a far more profound dread than simply leaving the physical body behind. Ask yourself honestly, have you ever felt that nauseating instability when a major life event, a divorce, a job loss, a move, threatens your social label? When the circumstances change, is the financial impact the only thing that rattles your core, or is there a silent, screaming question underneath? Who am I now that I am not X? That moment of disproportionate dread is the vibration test manifesting at its highest frequency. It is the terror of identity dissolution, a signal that your soul has mistaken the vessel for the water it contains. Cayce's readings consistently suggested that we carry our self-definition with us beyond the veil. If that definition is built entirely upon external roles and perishable achievements, the transition is experienced as a shattering, a violent dispersion into the unknown. But if your identity has been anchored in the eternal qualities, compassion, service, joy, and unconditional knowing, then the dissolution of the temporary mask is experienced not as a terror, but as a vast, liberating peace. You see, the truth I am revealing is that the ultimate fear of death is merely the shadow cast by the realization that your identification is still rooted in temporary soil. The promise is that the panic you feel is simply the constructed self, fighting for its illusory life, serving as the final dramatic evidence that a deeper, unburnable identity exists underneath. This is the shift from terror to profound peace, recognizing that the part of you panicking is the part that was never truly you anyway. Are you willing to let the character finally die so the real, eternal entity can finally breathe? The next step in this journey demands that we now move beyond mere recognition and delve into the practical implementation of this eternal self, understanding how those small, everyday choices solidify the foundation of your unshakable future. What if I told you that the entire infrastructure for your eternal home, the realm you will ultimately inhabit after this life, is built not during grand, sweeping spiritual retreats, but in the quiet, 10-minute ritual you perform tonight before you surrender to sleep? I know your logical mind, the one obsessed with Newtonian physics and immediate measurable results, is already dismissing this as wishful thinking. It struggles to accept that the most profound realities are anchored in simple, disciplined intention. But hear me out, because this is where the esoteric wisdom of Cayce meets the practical necessity of daily living. We must move beyond mere intellectual recognition of our eternal entity and into the active reintonation of the soul. Think of your soul as a sophisticated tuning fork. Every interaction, every choice, every fleeting emotion throughout your day acts as a slight tap or a heavy hammer against that fork. Most of the day is dissonance, the minor, distracting vibrations of the ego, the fear, the frustration. Your nightly ritual is not meant to catalog mistakes or list achievements. That would be banal self-help. This is frequency matching. Can you recall, just by closing your eyes and moving backward through the last 24 hours, the exact moment when the vibration felt pure? It wasn't when you succeeded in a task or when you forcefully imposed your will. It was when the character you play stepped aside for 3 seconds and the real you, the entity of pure, unconditional light, shone through. Maybe it was a moment of unsolicited kindness, a flash of patience when irritation was warranted, or a profound feeling of being totally present in the beauty of a sunset. These are your resonance points. This is the daily test. When you seek these moments, you are not engaging in positive thinking. You are literally recalibrating your instrument. You are affirming to the universe and to your deepest self, this frequency, this is the true note I am meant to hold. Ask yourself directly, when did I feel the least like the character and the most like the creator today? When did I move, speak, or decide from a place that felt undeniably eternal rather than fleetingly mortal. Identify that moment, sit in it, and allow that vibration to wash away the static of the day. This isn't psychological healing, it is spiritual engineering. We are reinforcing the infrastructure of your future dwelling. Remember, this practice is not about effort, it is about alignment. It is not about trying to be good, it is about being the goodness you already intrinsically are. Tonight, before you cross the threshold into the unconscious world, I invite you to conduct your own test. Find that singular moment of perfect resonance and hold it. What does that frequency feel like in your chest, in your mind, in your energy field? Are you willing to embed that feeling so deeply that it becomes the unbreakable magnetic signature of your identity, ensuring that tomorrow your soul starts the day already singing the right song? What if I told you that the deepest spiritual work is never truly done alone? Even when the realization dawns in perfect solitude, you have just conducted a profound, intimate test, the soul vibration test, and you now possess a frequency, a signature tone. Your logical mind, the one that calculates bills and schedules meetings, is probably already whispering, this is just poetry, not reality. But I promise you, this is the most critical, foundational reality you will ever face. We have spent this time together tuning the instrument. Now we must make sure the instrument is plugged into the universal amplifier. This isn't about bragging rights or performing for the gallery. This is about broadcasting your newfound wavelength to the universe and to the community seeking the same truth. When you find that perfect note of self-acceptance, that moment where your highest self and your daily actions align, that feeling is not fleeting joy, nor is it pathological grandiosity. It is the durable, immutable frequency of your eternal self. It is the signature that tells the cosmos exactly where to seat you when the current life cycle ends. I ask you now, are you ready to seal this experience? Are you willing to publicly claim the frequency that will define your tomorrow and shape your transition? Don't just absorb this information, embody it. This is your moment to transform mere understanding into radical commitment. If this journey has resonated, if you recognize the signs of the realm calling you forward, I invite you, right here, right now, to fire your signal flare. Comment the word vibration. This singular act transcends merely typing letters. It is a spiritual declaration. It is the commitment of the soul to its own chosen trajectory. By speaking this word into the collective space, you are attracting others who are singing the same song, ensuring that you build your spiritual tribe on earth, even as you prepare for your designated realm in the next stage. It is a magnetic signature of identity, a public pact with your highest self. Do you truly believe deep down that the soul you have been cultivating deserves the highest resonance? If the answer is yes, then let your fingers speak the truth of your spirit. By claiming this code word, you are saying to the cosmos, I understand the test, and I choose my vibration. This simple commitment transforms passive consumption into intentional practice. We are now a constellation of souls, each shining brightly, reinforcing each other's magnetic fields. Like this video to affirm that this profound truth is yours, and subscribe to hold the frequency, ensuring that the guidance needed for this lifetime's greatest refinement is always available. When you comment vibration, you are not just confirming you watched, you are confirming who you are becoming starting today. Let us see the frequency rise. We have called upon the vibration. We have felt the subtle hum beneath the surface of the mundane, and we have listened as the mysteries spoke of eternal continuity. But what if I told you that the greatest error humanity ever made was to search for the afterlife realm out there, a fixed location promised by fate or decree, when in reality, that realm is already being constructed, bite by bite, breath by breath, inside the acoustic chamber of your own heart. Your rational mind, I know, is already trying to locate the map or the coordinates, searching for the geographical location of bliss or despair. That part of you, the logic circuit, needs to rest now, because the truth we uncovered with Edgar Cayce is far more fluid, far more beautiful and infinitely more demanding. This is not a search for a celestial address to be earned by checklist. It is not about crossing a mythical river or earning entry to a gated community in the sky. No. This profound teaching reveals that you are not looking for a place, you are tuning the dial. The transition we call death is not a passport check, it is merely a change in density, a sudden revelation of the frequency you are broadcasting. The veil between worlds is not a distant finish line, it is simply the point where your inner resonance meets its perfect harmonic match. And the dimension you experience next is the exact one you have been building and reinforcing throughout this life. Think about that for a moment. What is the quality of the note you are playing today? Is it resentment, low and muddy, a dense, dragging vibration that pulls all surrounding light into a heavy shadow? Or is it quiet, steady compassion, a resonance that lifts everything it touches, including your own awareness? Are you right now experiencing flashes of the heaven or hell you are preparing for? I ask you this because these realms are not punishments or rewards delivered by an external judge. They are perfect, instantaneous echoes matching the vibration of your soul's history. You don't go to heaven. You instantly become the frequency of heaven, simply by dropping resistance to the love that already is. Your greatest work is not to achieve an external goal, it is to align your energy. You are not striving to be accepted into a higher dimension. You are learning to become that higher dimension, right here, right now, while gravity still holds you to this earth. This is the ultimate daily vibration test. Can you hold the frequency of universal love, of genuine service, even when the world is screaming static, contradiction, and chaos? Can you maintain the signal when the interference is deafening? This is the ultimate invitation. You hold the controls. The universe is waiting to mirror your frequency back to you. When you leave this space, carry this profound realization. You have the tools, you have the knowledge, and you know the test. Go and resonate your highest truth. Live as if the separation is already an illusion, because it is. When the final moment comes, you won't be judged on what you knew or what you had, but on the clarity of the frequency you held. That frequency, that perfect ringing note, is your true name. Now step into the world and let your soul sing.